friends, your favorite besties are back for another episode of No Ma'am. I'm Will, and this is my co-host.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode of No Man.
All right, friends, today we are bringing the heat, right? Because we have a very special guest today. He is not just a legend in the adult entertainment industry, he's a fashion disruptor. He's a content creator and an unapologetic force of power, pleasure, and purpose. Give it up for the one and only Boomer Banks. Boomer, welcome to No Ma'am.
Hi everyone, and a DJ now.
Oh, yeah.
Love
Yes.
that.
Yes. Look at that.
Yes,
Multifaceted. Look
that's
at
what's
that.
been happening the past 2 years. I stopped. I'm still doing content, and we'll talk about what just happened. May 1st, I released a website, but for the past 2.5 years, I've been DJing, and I stopped doing studio porn because, and we'll talk about this as well, and more in depth. It's just that industry is not for people of color. It's never been designed for people of color. They love to fetishize us. They love to watch us.
Hmm.
They love to be up in our DMs with their gaping assholes, but they will not recognize us as their equals. And as you guys know, well, not everyone knows, but for a decade, all I wanted was to create a lane for people of color. It made it hard when the only people that were there to choose there was lack of color to choose from. So I was always told, like, well, you're always filming with white guys,
Hmm.
but the representation wasn't there. And also, I'm the representation. Like, did we forget that I am a person of color?
Yep.
Like people always forget that, and they always try to put us in this, like, oh, well, you're only filming with white guys. Well, that's all that there is. But now there's more, and as content creating has become more of a thing, and studio has become less of a thing, there's more content creators and more people of color. And even them, like one of the biggest ones, Raheem, he started off not showing his face, right? Because, and we all know, like, we have, as people of color, we have the shame behind sex and putting ourselves out there and being slutty and being unapologetic in that way.
Yep.
But then he revealed his face, and everybody, like, gagged. You know what I
Yep.
mean? This beautiful man, this very talented man, in every aspect, has done so well for himself, and I'm really grateful. I unfortunately went a different route, and I had to be signed by these white companies, and not had to, but I chose to be signed by these white companies. But early on, like, I knew that I needed to make a difference, or I needed to try to, at least. And it was very hard when constantly you're being put down by your own kind. And I'm sure you guys have dealt with this as well, especially
Yeah.
being in a
Totally.
platform like this.
Yeah.
When you guys put yourself out there on a platform, people, you're not black enough, you're not brown enough, you're
Hmm.
you're, you're too black, you're too brown.
Yep.
We can never win. And when is that going to stop? Like, when are we just going to be enough for each other in our queerness, in our blackness, in our brownness, and just our humanness?
Is this
Yeah,
true?
yeah. So anyway.
No, I mean, no, it's funny because I was literally just on another podcast and we talked about being gay enough, right? And
Oof,
so I just
yeah.
think that that's like, obviously, that's a topic for another day, another conversation, because we talk about that all day.
Yeah, you
But
can.
today we're really going to deep dive into representation because I think a lot of what you said is really important, especially to be able to represent your culture on a main stage, right? Like that. And I stumbled upon one of the interviews on Pride.com, right? And you said you beautifully described or shared your story about being queer, being brown, being immigrant, and how sharing your story, right, is really important to giving back to community. And so, especially in today's climate, right, without power, politics is going. And I hate talking about politics, but politics is personal, and sometimes we have to
Well,
speak
it's hard
power
to
in that
ignore
aspect.
right now. It's hard
Yeah.
to ignore politics right now. It is politics is invading us, whether we like it or not. Right now, like, they are in our house, and we didn't ask for it, but here we are. And I think we have a responsibility, especially as brown and queer and immigrants, if we are immigrant, to have some sort of a voice within means. We don't want to put ourselves in danger, because we are target number one right now, but we can't stay silent. We cannot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I I always kind of joke about this, saying like I'm Donald Trump's like worst nightmare because like queer, Mexican, immigrant, non-binary. But yeah, like we're absolutely under attack, and I think a big reason we've always had it that we wanted to do this podcast is to be representation. You know, there's not a lot of people that look like us doing this, so we wanted to create a lane, kind of the way you kind of described it. We wanted to create a lane for people like us and show them that hey, we're here and we matter too.
Yeah.
And that's important. I mean, and that's, I think that's what, so when I started, I was, it's crazy because I started when I was 33. Saying that I was naive is, I really was. So I know you guys have read a lot of my stuff, and but so your audience, just to get a little quick backstory, like I'm Mexican born, American raised. I grew up in Southern California. Then I ended up in New York City 15 years ago. So New York City is home now. I never felt comfortable in California, and I finally have found a place to call home, and it's New York. But when I was back there, my early years, I lost my mother to alcoholism, and I was an only child, and so she was it. So I went to go live with my family, and they were very jarred by my queerness. And I often say I was unapologetically queer. I don't think that's was the case now. I wanna be very clear now, because a lot's happened in the last couple months that's been very jarring for me. I think what happened was I had no choice. Like, I've always been a survivor, not by choice, by circumstance.
Yeah.
I was telling my fiance yesterday, what clicked for me was people have all these stories about their family members being like, "Oh, I remember when you were a little kid," whether it's good or bad. Before the queerness happens, or before, like, they always have these stories, right? Your parents, your aunties, um, they're like, "Oh, he was this when he was a kid. He was always." I I don't have that. I just have me to relay these stories of who I was or who I tried to be. And the majority of them were my family members shitting on me because I was just like person. I was queer from the get go. There was no hiding it. I grew up with a very effeminate mother. I was a faggot. Like, there was no hiding it, mama. Like, I was faggot. I was, and always doing this with my no hair. Like,
Yeah.
him as a Mexican.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, fully.
A Mexican mother. Either it goes either way. They're very homemakers and not that they're not feminine, but they're just like homemakers, and they don't put on makeup, but they just like that's a different kind of mother. But then there's also the Mexican mothers that wear the red lipstick and the big hair because they love the novelas, and the circle skirts and the boots and the buckle belts, all that. All that
Yes.
is seared in my head growing up, right?
Hmm.
So I was very effeminate growing up, and I didn't grow into this. Despite that, I just grew into me, and I am still a faggot. I still love it. I love that word, and I know it offends some people, but call somebody if it offends you. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I love taking power back from that word, and queer as
Yeah.
well. Queer and faggot are words that were very jarring for people growing up, especially the generation before me. The problem is a lot of the generation, and you all know this, the white folks are the ones that have issue with queer and faggot, but the brown folks were erased the generation before mine. I don't know how old you all are, but the generation before mine, they were all erased by HIV and AIDS. They were disproportionately took out by the disease. So I don't have gay fathers, and to have shown me how to act, what to be, what to grow in, how relationships are supposed to be. We're all just learning that now. And I tell this to my fiance, like, we're learning how to be in this relationship together, because I didn't have anybody to tell me how to be in a queer relationship. and and
Yeah.
and and to mention, not to mention, like, all they know is gayness, and to me gay is equivalent to white. But the word gay to me is so Caucasian, and that's not bad. They were very helpful, figuring us out, because they had that power. We didn't. We couldn't maneuver on those spaces, but white people could, and I'm grateful that they could because they got us there, right?
Yep.
But then they forgot about us, a lot of them. And I remember trying to talk to older white men about when I found out I was HIV positive when I was 20, and they didn't want to talk about
Yeah.
it, because it was still seared in the head as this like, it almost took my life. It took all my friends' lives. So it's just, it's been a hard upbringing. And again, I don't have the luxury of like memories of very happy memories as a kid. I just always survived.
Mhm.
So early on, I had to be my own representation. I had to be my own mom, my own dad, my own brother, sister. And another thing my fiance brought up is like, I don't know. I've seen, he said, I've seen other people that have a lot more than you do give up for a lot less. And and that is crazy to me because I ended up inheriting my mother's disease. I was an addict from, I still am an addict, but I was an active addict from the age of like 16 till like 24. I got sober for when I was 24, and I've been clean and sober for over 20 years now of everything. But back then, again, I didn't have someone to tell me or to love me enough to understand what. So in the end, when I ended up in jail, I just had me to love me enough to stop doing that and to ask for help. And I don't know where that comes from because I don't know what my mother was like without alcohol. I don't know what my family members were like because they berated me.
Mhm.
I don't know where I found this courage, but I know I didn't want to die. I didn't know what I wanted, but I know I didn't want to die. So I just kept on, and everything I have, everything in New York and everything in this apartment is mine. And I
Yeah.
haven't had to ask anybody for anything. Lately it's been a little rough because of this like change in like career, and you can't, even though you're a name, I didn't want people to be like, oh yeah, Boomer Banks the DJ, like let's hire him. I wanted them to hear me and hear my music and hear the stories that I love to tell through music before they hired me. Because what if I wasn't good? What if I didn't end up being a good DJ?
Yeah.
But that was quickly silenced. I love music, and it shows how much I love music. Like, and I love it because people come up to me and they're like, and they're surprised, and that's fine because I didn't. This isn't something I started off doing. So when people are like, "Wow, you're good," I'm like, "Thank you." I just say thank you. I don't get.
Yeah.
I don't get like all like, oh, like, because I didn't know. I honestly, this is the one thing that like really scared me. Like, because I knew that I didn't want to, and shout out to daddy sex workers and everything, like live your life. I didn't want to be in my fees, on a go-go box. I live your life, and there's a market for that. Believe me. I just, as an artist, and you guys know, as a fashion designer that went to school for fashion and everything, the problem with that is fashion is hard.
It's incredibly hard.
It is
Mhm.
hard,
It is.
and unless you know someone, and I've worked for some amazing designers, Catherine Malandrino, Michael Costello, Geo Mac, like so many amazing designers, but like it's hard to just like solidify because it's hard for them. So for them to bring me up is not easy.
Yeah.
And I showed a collection for Fashion Week, a gender fluid collection, and that was amazing. And it was in a store, and it sold out. And but all that happened was I got my money back.
Yeah.
I ended up even, and that's not profitable and sustainable. And for me to put all that money out and ask for favors, because I can't pay models, so you're asking your friends, and it's just, and that's jarring because I really do want to pay my friends. I think everybody should be paid. It's very important, especially working in nightlife. Like, it's always the promoters that are like, well, we'll give you a ticket to get in. Like, that's not going to pay my rent, sis. Yeah,
Big
that's if I
tickets. Yeah.
if I could tell my landlord, hey, I'll get you into this club. If will that pay my rent? Then baby, by all means, pay me that way. I'll put him on the list all the time. But that's not the case.
No, no, I think what I really appreciate from what you just said, it is the fact that being queer, being brown, by being immigrant, is not a monolith. And so we each have our individual stories. And so sometimes when we compare ourselves, right, we're comparing ourselves to whiteness, and we have to be able to be the ones to tell our own stories. And so for me personally, I'm a firm believer of you can't be what you can't see. So sometimes we need that physical manifestation of
Yeah.
seeing someone who looks like us, who has similar background, so that at least we know that they did it, so my dream can come true, or like I'm seeing it. And I can appreciate the fact that what one, you're so vulnerable in order to be able to tell your story, because you never know what somebody else may be listening to the podcast, watching the video, or saying, hey, I went through the same channels, I was in the same situation. He did it, so that I may be wanting to give up right now, but I know that he didn't, so I'm going to continue moving. And I think that's very powerful.
And like I said before, like there wasn't anybody. Again, I don't know what, because I didn't see that representation.
Yeah.
You know, and I grew up, and I'm sure y'all. How old are y'all? Like I'm 45. I'm gonna be 45 this year.
I'm going to be 36 in June.
I'll
Yeah,
be 29.
yeah. So you all are young. So the representation we had was like Will and Grace, and
And
like Sex in the City, and a lot of whiteness. So like, and a lot of the way that we thought we were gonna fall in love surrounded itself around whiteness, like the one, and the one with the blue eyes and the blonde hair is gonna like open the doors for you, you know. And it took me being in my 30s to realize I sought that. And it wasn't that I was racist, but there was a lot of prejudice in like not seeing the beauty in my own kind, you know. And it opened the door. It opened the door big time. Like it wasn't that I wasn't attracted to my own kind, but I never felt loved or or cared for, even by my own family. So what makes me think that another Mexican or another person of color is gonna make love me? Because what I would see is them hating themselves for being gay, for being, you know, effeminate, even though they were who they were. It was always this like, because we would look to the TV and we wouldn't see what we were. So how could we be who we are?
Mhm.
We're never going to be that. We're never going to aspire to any greatness because we don't see us in greatness until we did start seeing it. We did start seeing all this representation slowly but surely. And even now it's still growing. But now, like we talked about, politics, it's completely under attack. And it's so bizarre that that is what they are focusing on. Like
yeah,
little old us.
exactly. But you did bring something up, which was kind of the not the self-racism, but like me growing up, I know I kind of hated being Mexican, honestly,
Maybe
because of the relentless bullying that I endured growing up. People would call me names. They would sing songs like when the swine flu was going on. Like people in school were like, blame it on the Mexicans and everything. So it wasn't until like the last couple years or so where I really started to kind of appreciate my heritage and appreciate Mexican culture and really try to like learn more about it and live in it authentically.
I've been able to separate the culture from my family because they're entwined, right? They are Mexican. They are the culture,
Yeah.
but the rest of the culture is not my family, and I need to be proud of who I am because I am not my family, but I am still Mexican. So there needs to be like I'm not religious, but I love religious art.
Same. Oh, same.
I, you know, I cook the food. I learned because I saw my mom cooking it. Like I love all of it. I love the fashions, all of it, all of the culture. But what I realized is that the reason why it kept me from loving is because the people that were supposed to love me, they were exactly that, and they were a reflection for me of what didn't want me.
Yeah.
But not all Mexicans are like that.
Yeah.
And
No,
even if they
fully.
are, it doesn't matter. I'm Mexican. I'm not like that. And we forget we are. We are. So why, like, yeah, it's just such a crazy vicious circle of like, how do we accept ourselves and knowing that this family that's supposed to love me, like in therapy, a lot of the beginning of my therapy was I was like, where were the adults? I was a child. I lost my mother when I was 14 and none of them cared. It's so mind blowing. But now there's gays in the family and they love them.
Yes.
And I
I
have to watch that. I have to watch that because I know that TV changes and people start being more accepting. but you all put me out on the street, and I lived on the street, and I was a drug addict, and I contracted HIV. It's not that it's their fault, but they were never there to take care of me through all that. And had I just been loved, it might have been different. I will never want to change who all the things that happened because they've made me who I am today.
Hmm.
But who as a child didn't want to be loved by their family?
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's
Yeah.
that simple. It's that simple. And my therapist talks about like my younger self and how I need to like invite that person into my life now, because my little person, little boomer, we need to bring them into the picture now, because now little boomer is being taken care of, and that they're being taken care of by me because I'm living authentically, and being kind and being kind to others. I often talk about how niceness and kindness are two different things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't identify myself as nice, but
Yeah.
I am very kind. I will
Same.
give all and every person under the LGBTQ plus community the shirt off my back. I don't care if you hated me at one point, if you hated on me on one point, if you love me, if you don't, like, I will give you the shirt off my back, and I will stand up for you no matter what. If you are a part of my community, nobody fucks with my people. Nobody. But that doesn't mean I have to like what you're about. That doesn't mean I have to like you or be your friend. This just shows that community matters to me. For me, the way that I maneuver is shows that my community matters to me, and I will be there for them no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's hard because some people walk around being nice. Oh, he's nice. What has he done though? What has that person done? Like, niceness without kindness to me is just manipulation.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk about it. Yes. No, but I also think you said something really good, where which is like seeing a therapist, and it's very taboo for like our
Oh my
community to go
God.
talk to someone.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
the first
We don't
step
talk
right
about our
there, right?
family business to nobody. Well,
No,
honey, I'm not even a part of the family, so I'm going to talk to anybody and everybody.
yes, we don't spill no kind of tea to no one else outside the family. We will suffer in silence over here, okay?
And that's our culture. But
Yeah.
Yes.
queerness is the opposite. We talk to everybody. We spill tea all the time. That is what we do.
Yeah,
Hmm.
when I told my mom that I had began antidepressants a few years ago, like she almost had a heart attack. Like she was like, "Why?" Like it was like, "Why?" Like you don't need that. And I was like, "No, I do." And it was important for me to do that because then my brother was able to follow suit, and it wasn't such a big deal when he started going to therapy and he started taking anti-anxiety medication and all that stuff because we had I had kind of been like, no, it's okay, it's necessary. And I had kind of set the standard of like, no, if he needs it, like he should get the help that he needs. Which again, in
Well,
not
in
just
Mexican culture, they just drink, and that
that'd be like ponte a limpiar, there. Ponte a
drink,
limpiar,
obsess on something else to get your
Yeah,
mind off of it. That is
exactly that.
Mexican culture. Go drink, go eat.
Hmm.
Eating is a
Hmm.
big thing. Like, just eat and eat and
Yeah.
eat, and then next thing you know, you're overweight and you have issues, and like you're dying. But
Yeah.
like, you did not address the fact that this happened as a child,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
more important to them.
it's the same in our community too, right? It's like
Yeah.
if you're depressed, it's like no, you just don't like people, right? Or you're just antisocial, or you have an attitude problem. Like no, there's a deeper issue
Attitude
in that.
problem. That's
It's
crazy. How do you tell a child they have an attitude problem?
like you got an attitude, like you need to fix your face. And it's not that, it's just that literally I have social anxiety. So when I'm in certain situations, I always need to know where the exit is. And I just think that's just generational trauma, right? Like being in spaces, you're seeing what happens when you're like in closed environments, and then you watch the news and you see that clubs are being shot up, and people can't get out, and you're like, no, I need to be aware of my surroundings at all time. Doesn't mean that I don't like you. It just means that I'm always gonna know where the door is.
Or if I don't like you, accept that.
True.
That girl, we don't gotta like everyone.
But I will be kind to you, and I won't be nasty to
Right.
you.
Yeah.
But I don't have to like you. And people think that that's mean, but it's not. It's actually very honest and loving to understand that we're not all the same. We just aren't. That doesn't mean I'm better than anyone. By no means. I minimize myself so much, and that is cultural as well. I make myself smaller because I grew up thinking, because of TV and what everything's been fed to us, that we are not the superior being.
Yeah, fully. Yeah, I mean, like we did have thinking of like Mexican media, there was no queer representation for us at all until recently. And if we did see queer people in Mexican media or in Latino media
Fotos,
or photos, which
fotos,
I love yeah, it was
all
a
of them were very like they carry, they carry, they
yeah,
carry, they carry. Yeah,
yep, caricatures that like, and I was like, do I have to be that in order to like is that how I have to act? It was
yeah.
definitely very confusing. So now that we are finally getting that, there's still a long way to go in terms of representation, but I love being able knowing that now that like the younger generation is gonna have that representation for them because I know we never had that for ourselves growing up.
And you talked about younger generation. I think also a lot of them are taking for granted a struggle, right?
Oh, fully.
So
They don't know.
like right now, they're just like, well, we're gonna be fine. Okay, you
Mhm.
need to not forget that there's people that are older that have fought for you, and like, not everyone needs to be homeless and be an addict and have HIV to understand the struggle. But right now, especially queer men or gay men, like they like to identify, totally turning their back on trans individuals right now is staggering and insane. And the fact that you're being quiet. And I know that current trans people have not had to go through as much as previous trans people. But now they're going through it right now, big time. It's not funny. It's not something to be taken lightly. But I don't think they see it that way. It's hard to when you're like, here, you get to be gay, you're like, thank you, and your parents love you, and you know you're being fought for at home and loving and caring. Yeah, I don't feel like everybody needs to be or has to go through what a lot of us went through or have seen, and
Hmm.
not a lot of us go through it, but we see it. But history needs to be carried and understood and internalized, especially when it comes to minorities that we are. If not, we lose sight of who we were internally and how we got to where we're at. And that
Yeah.
and us as people of color understand culture and
Mhm.
history. But that's why I think that a lot of the Caucasian queers are like, well, we don't have that culture. We don't have that history. Everyone's always fought for us.
Yeah.
And
We trans people, what? Let them fight for
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Gay. Okay,
Yeah,
gay.
I mean the struggle is different, right? Like they never had to struggle for something. And so I think that's why you see some of our white counterparts, they don't understand why we are like, no, yeah, we may
Yeah,
not be trans, right? But yeah, we're still gonna fight for our trans brothers and sisters because we know what it means to be underrepresented. And
yeah,
they don't have that. They don't have that same, I would say, like awareness to it.
no,
So for them it's like out of sight, out of mind.
yeah.
And we have to give them the benefit of the doubt because they don't understand what the struggle is.
But that's
But to a
dangerous.
point,
It's
it's like
dangerous.
you
Yeah,
need to use your privilege. This is one time we're calling on you to use your privilege for the right reasons.
yeah.
Like we need this privilege now. Like you need to be in the front saying this is not right
We don't need
because
we
what
also we
happened.
don't need saviors, but yes, we do need someone to like I said before, the gays before me, like they opened the gates, right? They created these safe spaces and helped us get, all these things. And I don't think they knew what they were doing, but it was very helpful. But now people are so much more hyper aware that they can use that privilege. You're right, they can. And we don't need white saviors, but it's very crucial to have that push to want to fight for your fellows. Yeah, and it's hard to find that, especially when everything's given to you.
This is
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
It
It's
is.
kind of a catch-22, but this is one of my favorite podcasters is Delta Work, and she talks about there's always bigger fish to fry, right?
Hmm.
And she talks about on her podcast she fries the small fish, and this is one of those kind of it's a big fish, but it's still a small fish because it's only within our community. In the grand scheme of things, our community, even though it's being blasted all over the world, is a very small part of the world. Yeah, so it's important to keep talking about it because maybe today will change one person's mind,
Yeah.
and it starts
Yep.
somewhere. You know?
This is true. I mean,
Yeah,
and speaking of change, right? We all understand that there's a lot of change that we may need to accept. But one thing we need to, that's always changing and is all about trends, is fashion.
yeah.
And I think we're all into, fashion. Obviously, some of us are designers and some of us are stylists
Go
and
say
some
hi
of
to
us,
Buster.
look, we have
Look
a
at that.
guest. Oh my God, yes. Love that. See, talk about change. Look at that. Buster was like, I love fashion too. So it's all good. So, Giovanni has a game that we tend to play here on No Man. And so, Giovanni, what is that game called?
So it's this or that. So the way it works is I will give you two options, and you just have to choose which one you prefer. But due to, you kind of being in the fashion designer, I wanted to make it fashion.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna be listing some iconic houses, or well, designers, not really the houses, and you just have to tell me which one you prefer.
Okay.
So we're just gonna kind of rapid fire it.
Okay.
So Tommy Hilfiger or Michael Kors?
Ooh, Tommy.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Calvin Klein or Tom Ford?
Tom Ford, hands down, Mama. That's not even that. That's
Thank you.
like, woo! I'm gonna get married to Tom Ford, Mama. That's like,
Oh my God, yes. Love that. Oh my God, I can't wait to see those pictures. Oh my God. Vivian Westwood or Thomas Burberry?
oh God, that's so. Vivian.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the right answer. Nothing against Burberry, but like
No,
it's
no. Old
Vivian.
school Burberry is so classic.
Oh, fully agree.
Vivian is just unmatched.
Yep. All right. Diane von Furstenberg or Betsy Johnson?
Betsy,
Jean-Paul Gaultier or Valentino?
Jean Paul, Valentino's on my shit list right now.
Love that.
Isn't he? Isn't he the one that dressed Melania? I feel like it was Valentino. Don't quote me on that, but I think he's the one that made Melania's dress for the inauguration.
I think you might be right. Ooh, ooh,
We should
ooh.
fact check that. I don't quote me on that, but I think it was Valentino. I don't think it was. Oh, was it Oscar? Ooh, it might have been Oscar or Valentino, one of those two. Anyway, sorry.
Speaking of Oscar, Oscar de la Renta or Cristobal Balenciaga?
Balenciaga.
Okay. Vera Wang or Christian Lacroix? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Le
Yes.
Croix, darling, Le Croix.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes. Love that. Albert Ibaz or Pierre Balmain?
Balmain.
That was so easy, right? Yves Saint Laurent or Hubert de Givenchy?
Jesus, I'm gonna like plead the fifth on that one.
Okay. Okay. Oh. Coco Chanel or Christian Dior?
Dior.
Oh, yeah.
Good choice.
Chanel was a Nazi lover.
That
I said that earlier
that
today.
that
I said
that.
that.
Let's not
Wake it
forget that.
up.
Yeah.
Wake it up.
Gianni Versace or Elsa Schiaparelli?
Versace, Gianni.
Okay. And then finally, Thierry Mugler or Alexander McQueen?
McQueen, baby.
I knew you were going to say that word. Yeah, I know.
McQueen. Oh
Rest
my
in
God. I
peace.
remember when I used to, I was still in school when he passed away, and I was on my way to school when I read that he passed away. But his documentary, when I was making my last collection, I had it playing in the background the whole time. The music, the mood, even even though he's gone, he's so his legacy haunts, and I love that.
Hmm.
I love a haunting legacy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my closet can't close because there's some McQueen stuff in there. So, accessories, because I'm not a fan of the clothes, but the accessories, down. Love that.
I would kill to have an archive McQueen piece.
Oh my God, I went to the last weekend of his Met
Hmm.
exhibit, and I still lived in Los Angeles, so I flew out here just for that, and I
It was
literally cried the whole time.
it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was
I cried the whole time.
yeah. No, like I mean, he is an iconic designer who's made a huge impact. Like you said, he's left a whole legacy. Like there's so many things he designed that you just look at it and you're like, oh my God, that like the armadillo shoes are my favorite
Yeah,
McQueen piece ever. I know a lot of
yeah.
people kind of hated them. I love them. I love how big they
No,
were. I love
who
how
are these people?
mm, mm,
Not our people. They're not
not
our
our
people.
people, not our that. I was about to say
Who are
straight people,
these
straight
people?
people.
They are not our people,
No, exactly that.
and they are not Gaga fans either.
That girl. So the reason I discovered McQueen was because of Gaga. She wore it in the Bad Romance video, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? Who
I
made
was
this?
just
I need to know.
I was telling my partner because he's actually a funeral director. We're always morbidly talking about funerals and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I want people to dance at my funeral to Bad Romance.
That, well, not that song, but that's what I always say. Like, I don't want a sad funeral.
Bad
I want to
Romance would
party.
be so much fun. Stop, Buster. Hush. Hey, hush. Hey, hush. Sorry.
All good.
He always hears somebody and he starts barking. Stop, stop, stop. Enough.
It's all good. No worries. It's
Okay.
all good.
But yeah, Bad Romance is such a fun song to dance to.
It is. It
And when
is.
it comes on, people are just like dancing.
And everybody knows the choreo. So,
Yeah,
get me
that
drunk
part.
enough and I'll jump on any stage and like just bust out the choreo real quick.
Yes.
Are you going to Mayhem Ball?
I have not bought tickets yet because that was crazy.
We're going. Yeah, I know.
I'm definitely gonna end up buying a ticket. It's gonna be crazy
Yeah.
expensive because these scalpers are
Well,
crazy.
we were able to get in the American Express early ticket
Mhm.
thingy, which
Got
was
it. Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. But I saw her for Chromatica a couple of times, so I definitely want to catch this one again because it's been a few years. But yeah.
All right. Well, just to switch things up a bit, because there were some really great answers. So I'm really excited that you said some of the good choices, because, yeah, there was this or that, but there were some right answers in there. So great job.
That was
Now
not
we're
Coco
going
Chanel.
to, right, it wasn't Coco Chanel, no. But we're going to do a round of rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So now the rules are really simple. It really is based on pure instinct. Just say what's the first thing that pops into your mind.
Okay.
All right. So, what's a smell that instantly takes you back to your childhood?
Tortillas.
All right. All right.
Oh, yeah, that's too.
All
Sorry, well,
right.
go on.
That's a
No, it's
that's
all
a
good.
that's a poor person thing. That is such a poor person thing.
No, yeah,
So,
but see, so my sister is about to give birth, and my mom is already planning that the first thing she's gonna eat is a
Is
tortilla
a
costada.
tortilla. Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Of course.
I love that for y'all. If you could guest star any reality TV show, which one and why?
Mine. And also just to plug, I'm getting a spin-off from my reality show, X Rated, and we
Oh,
start
yeah.
filming in a couple weeks.
Oh, I love
Love
that.
that.
But also,
Yeah,
to be completely honest, Real Housewives of Miami.
I
I
love
want
that
to.
too.
I love that. That franchise is
Old
my
or reboot?
favorite. Reboot,
Okay, good. Good
but
choice.
maybe one episode in the old because of what's her name's mom. She was classic.
Madisola's mom?
Marisol's mom. She was amazing. She
What's
passed
her name?
away.
Like Elsa?
Yes, I think it was Elsa. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Oh my God,
And
Marisol's
she's
mom was classic. Yes, yes,
so
yes.
good. Okay. So, what is your most used emoji? Be honest.
The drooling emoji. The one where,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, oh,
I be drooling. I'm a slut, girl. Come on.
tweet on that. Okay. So, if you can only wear one color for the rest of your life, what is it giving?
It's giving black, baby. The lack of color. Come on. I'm a New
Listen,
Yorker.
listen, black never go back. So,
That part.
let's say that. All right. So, which fictional character do you relate to the most?
Jigglypuff.
We were just talking about it. So
Oh,
right
the
before
very
you,
richest.
You know want to know why? Because he is so like Jigglypuff. What, bitch? I will ruin you, motherfucker.
no,
No,
he was literally, so before we started recording, he was singing the song. Like he was, I have Jigglypuff stuck in my head. This is crazy.
that is wild.
But you get him mad, and he's like, "What, bitch?"
Yes, Jigglypuff is so unhinged. Jigglypuff is so bangy. Like, love Jigglypuff. Like, love Jigglypuff. And the fact that you said Jigglypuff, I just think I literally just had Jigglypuff's song in my head for a good 10 minutes.
Yes.
That is awesome. Okay, so now what's a song that lives rent free in your head?
I would have to say Whitney Houston. I will always love you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
my
a
mom
good
loved
one.
that song, and it was the first CD that she bought me when she got me a CD player. Our last Christmas together. Yeah, she gave
Oh,
me. She's like, "Go buy a CD," and she loved that song, so I went to go buy that song. I had watched Bodyguard at the movie theaters like 20 times. Um, yeah, I'll always love you. Yeah, that's the first thing that popped in my head. I mean, as as a house DJ, there's so much music now in my head, and a new DJ, but but just music in general, like of life and everything. I think Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You."
Okay, so what is one thing you do that makes you feel grounded no matter what?
meditation, and I haven't done it, so I'm holding myself accountable on this podcast, and that's one of the reasons why this last month has been very trying. The only thing that's grounded me is my partner, but I can't. I think it's been unfair to have a person be your grounding source. You need to have this sense of self, and I'm such a spiritual human, and you know, I've been in recovery for 20 years, not only stayed sober, but been in recovery. And I've been in those anonymous programs, and they're so very helpful. And they teach you about meditation and spirituality. And that is what keeps me grounded. Writing, reading literature that helps me stay grounded, and therapy. Anything that's surrounding self help is very grounding to me. Yeah.
Okay, so now, if your mood today was a meme, what meme would it be?
And I,
Yeah. Ooh. Listen, Jasmine
Miss
Masters,
Jasmine Masters going, oh,
look, that's too
I
iconic. We love her. We live for Jasmine. So, what's a fashion trend you wish would make a comeback?
fashion trend that I wish would make a comeback. I don't know. The only thing that comes to mind is this is before y'all's time. Ravers used to like add on these panels to their jeans to make them not necessarily bell bottom, but like these big old jeans. So they
need to
would
look
like,
this up now.
we'd cut them up and then open them up and put another like panel of, and we just walk around with these big old fucking jeans. And they're kind of
Uh,
doing that. There's baggy jeans coming back, but this was like adding another panel. So it's
yeah.
bell bottomy, but like not necessarily bell bottom. We used to do that. That was a lot of fun. I used to have because I would do them my own, obviously.
Hmm.
We used to have I used to have so many of those, and they sold them. Um, but that would be fun because then you could wear like a little not crop, but like to the waist crop shirt, and that would look like pretty dope. I think I should try to do
Ooh.
Yeah.
that because they have
Yeah.
now they've come out with like wide pants,
Hmm.
which is beautiful, and I love that look with a cinched waist.
Hmm. Hmm.
But this was like, you would create that by like adding a panel, and you could put like a different, like it would be a stone washed with like a dark panel.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. No, I mean, I was going to say bell bottoms. So the fact that you said bell bottoms, I was like, yes, great
Yeah,
job.
that
Look at
part.
that.
Yeah.
Listen, great minds think alike. And so the last question is, so you open up a queer-owned cafe. What would be the name, and what would be the signature drink?
You're gonna hate me.
What's
The
it gonna be? Oh
Mexican's
my...
gonna hate me. I want to call it Beaner.
No, I love that. Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my God, I love that.
I
That's
want to call it
amazing.
Beaner.
That
And
is
the
amazing.
signature will be a cafecito with abuelita's chocolate in it.
Yes, yes, yes. This
Because
might be
it's a little
controversial.
spicy. Just like a little bit. Not because if you put too much, you could taste just that.
Hmm.
But just like a little, maybe like a little sprinkle of the abuelitas on top.
See, this might be a little controversial. I prefer
But
Ibarra.
okay. No, that's not
Yeah.
controversial.
Okay.
No.
Listen, I've said that, and some people will be like, "No, absolutely not."
But I wasn't, when I would ask for hot chocolate because obviously, again, the whole like white culture thing, I wanted hot chocolate and my mom would make me abuelitas and
Hmm.
I resented it
Oh,
because it
same.
wasn't hot chocolate. It
Yeah.
was abuelitas and it had spice in it. And I don't want that. I wanted a hot chocolate with marshmallows because that's what we grew up watching. Like, oh, let's have some hot chocolate with marshmallow. But anyway, but like a little sprinkle of abuelitas on a like latte, that would
That
be
sounds
dope.
so good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right?
might
Because
need
you
to
just
make
get
that.
like little pieces and then you just dip
Yeah.
it. Abuelitas, have you ever had it before? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Have
yeah.
you ever had it before?
No,
You
no.
Okay.
never had.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
well,
get you
I
some
don't think
abuelitas.
but I don't think he would like it because like it's just you have to grow up having it. It's one of those things you have to grow up having it to like it
I
because
guess.
as an older person, like chocolate with spice, you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's not.
And I'm not a
That's
fan of spice. So,
it's giving. It's not chocolate.
No, see, but now I feel like that's kind of what like modern coffee shops try to do now. Like they'll try to like spice up their drinks and like put like cinnamon and nutmeg and cardamom and all this other stuff into the
Right.
drinks to make it
Right.
spicy.
No, yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
yeah. But I
this is
love
true.
that beaner. If you don't open that, I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna steal that.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah. And they'll be playing house music.
Oh my God, like house Mexican music. Like think the classics, but make them remixed.
So me, there. Once I start producing music and I get into that, I grew up listening to Paulina Rubio, Monica Naranjo, Thalia.
Love Thalia.
There's so many of their songs that could be remixed into a house song that I would love to do.
Oh my God,
So
yes.
that's gonna happen. Um, I've already told myself that, and I was actually gonna go see Monica Naranjo, and she canceled her New York date, and she did that 10 years ago too. Yeah, so I don't know what is her deal with New York, but she doesn't like coming here. And I'm still a fan, but I'm very discouraged because I also went to Chicago and she canceled that. Yeah,
Was
it is crazy.
low ticket sales, maybe? Who knows?
She didn't say why on either of the
Yeah.
dates. She did
Yeah.
Miami. She did Miami.
Oh,
She did Miami, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should just went to Miami. Oh well, I never get to see her. But I saw her when I was young. I was 21 years old when I saw her. She was doing this thing in Southern California that this local radio show does, and it was her, Paulina, Thalia. It was all the girlies, and they didn't let her sing live because her voice was so powerful that it was gonna blow out the mics. So you could hear her singing live, but like not on the mic. So
you,
you could hear her voice reverberate through the music. That's how powerful her voice is. Her mom is a classically trained opera singer, so she has that range. Her mom, I don't think, wait, again, don't quote me on this. I got to read up again. She was inspired by an opera singer, or her mother was an opera singer, one of those two. But her voice is very powerful. So it goes from this very harmonic to this very like raspy, like ooh voice. But she couldn't. I remember they didn't let her sing live, and she was so angry. She still sang, and you could still hear her. It was amazing. But that's the last time I
love
saw
that.
her. A long time ago. That was
Who
fun.
that was. Anyway, so thank you, Boomer, for showing up. Thank you for showing up fully and fiercely as you always do. We want to know though, what's next for Boomer Bang?
Ooh, so May 1st, I just dropped foreskinmafia.com.
Love
It's
that
my
name, by the way. Love that name.
own subscription site, and it's brand new. Nothing. I mean, the only thing that I'm bringing in is like, and people have a lot of people have seen some of it, but like it was on OnlyFans for a minute because I was able to post it, but then they came up with new rules. Is people know that I love to cruise and do public, and I record some of this stuff, and now I'm going to be able to put that on my site, so there'll be a lot of that. But the majority, so what I want to reiterate is it's called Foreskin Mafia, but it's for everyone. Anybody who loves hot, queer, sex positive sex. And with an emphasis on foreskin. And there's some people that don't like it. If you're curious, come watch. It's beautiful. And it's for everyone. Foreskin, no foreskin. Not everyone's gonna have foreskin. There's always gonna be at least one person with foreskin. And I will be curating it for the whole year. I will be in many of the scenes for a whole year, and then slowly fade myself out and just like have performers, because that's what I wanted. I wanted a platform that eventually is going to live on beyond me, that is for people of color, and a lot of people of color have foreskin. Even black men. There's many black men. There's this beautiful black man that I did a scene with, from the UK with foreskin. Oh my god, that man had a huge cock and a lot of foreskin. And yeah, I just want something to live on that represents, and what better than to represent, uh, queer and black and brown culture, foreskin. Like it's I know it's specific, but it's not always going to be that, and it might evolve into something else, and it might not, but it's always going to be brown and POC, and that's what I wanted. I wanted something that will represent far beyond me. And so that's happening. And like I said earlier, I got a spin-off from the reality show that I was on for 3 seasons called X-Rated NYC.
Hmm.
And it's going to center around my DJ career. A lot of the same performers are going to come and hang out, and basically I get a residency somewhere which will be revealed later, and I invite them, and then drama happens, just like on the
Love
show.
that. Yes.
And also you'll wait and see who's coming back. I'm definitely coming back, but we have a couple of new people joining the cast, trans people joining the cast, non-binary people joining the cast. Like, yeah, it's people of color. And it's going to be centered in a place that has a lot of Latin culture, so we'll be able to incorporate that as well. And I'm very excited for that. What else is happening? More DJing. Look out for me in Provincetown all summer, and all over the country all summer. I have a couple residencies in New York, one at Good Friday that happens once a month, and one at Goldilocks that happens once a month. Both happen at Red Eye in Manhattan, and I have a residency at Hush, which is also in Manhattan. I do this party called Commando on Wednesdays once a month, and a lot more. A lot more. I do a party called Tough, and that's all around the country, and I DJ at various tough parties. But yeah, a lot more music, a lot more reality, a lot more sex positivity, and you will still see fashion. I mean, I am fashion girly, and even when I'm wearing, it's so funny, people see me walking down the street in like sweats, and they're like, "You look so fashionable," and I'm like, I guess it's all about how you carry yourself, right?
Sell the
Eh,
garment.
yeah, and that's not necessarily fashion, but it's style, and style
Hmm.
will always outlive fashion. So
Yeah.
it's all about style. And as I'm looking at my dress form, because I still have my sewing machine, which I'm going to sell, I don't think I'll get rid of my dress form because I'm still keeping my small sewing machine and my small serger because I'm still going to be making stuff. But one of my favorite leatherwear designers, Zana Bain, she makes so many amazing things for me. I would turn this around and show you guys, but it's a mess over there. She made me this thing with like tassels on it. Actually, let me bring it over. Give me 1 second. I really want you guys to see this. Give me 1 second. But I don't want to because it's a mess over there. Y'all
No,
know. Y'all
listen,
know.
there's a reason you only see this part of my whole room. It's because the rest is it would give people a heart attack. They'd be in the
Listen,
comments.
they would be in the comments like, "What's this?" But this is what we see. This is New York City. This is authenticity at its finest, y'all. Friends, we bring it
There we
real,
go.
real.
I know, right? She's like, oh.
I
Put
love
this
that.
back on.
Love that. That's so nice.
So she made me this.
Oh my God, I would feel so content. I would be twirling. I would be twirling.
Oh my God,
Like
I
I
play
love a
music.
fringe.
So she made me this. She always does harnesses in this like very interesting way. It's never just like a bulldog harness. It's always just very, and I also have cuffs
Mhm.
that have fringe on them.
A fringe. Oh my God. Yes.
So I wasn't gonna do Cowboy Carter, but I saw that she's doing a lot of Renaissance at the end of Cowboy, and my partner didn't go get to see Renaissance, so I think we're gonna and she's playing like down the street from his house because he lives down the street in Jersey at the MetLife.
Hmm.
So I think since the tickets went way down in price, um, I don't care if I sit in a nosebleed. I want to go see because I want him to see all the music that came out from Renaissance. I mean, I love the Cowboy Carter stuff, but I just think he would be bored. She's Italian Irish, so and didn't grow up with country music. I didn't grow up with country music, but she makes it sound so pretty.
See, girl,
She yeah, she makes it sound so pretty. She brings a lot of culture to it, and
she does.
that's what lacks in country music is actual
Yep.
culture. And she brings that culture back into the country music, and that's beautiful. But yeah, I love Fringe.
Oh, me too, girl.
Feather Fringe. So I have a lot of her pieces. Her name is Anna Bain. She's made so many stuff for Gaga and Ariana. You know the Rain on Me video?
She made that.
The purple thing, the purple leather.
The
Yeah, that's Anna Bain.
let me
Xana with a
uh,
Z.
Z. Found
Yeah,
her.
yeah,
I'm about to
yeah,
go shopping, girl.
yeah. But yeah, no, yeah. So there's a still fashion in my blood, in my soul. It's just it's just such a hard business. It's such a hard business, and I've worked with so many. I've walked so many shows. I walked the Willie Chavarria show. He's one of my favorite designers. He's a Mexican designer.
I just saw his
Yeah,
collection. I loved it.
yeah, and he and I are really good friends, and he's I have one of his hat like he and I walked like I said I walked in one of his shows, and also they just dressed me when I won my Hall of Fame award.
Congrats.
Yeah, he dressed me, and I had never asked for anything because I don't ask my friends who are designers.
Hmm.
I don't, but I was like, hey, this is like a big deal. I'm a brown man winning an award that has only been given to other white men. And he's like, bitch, are you kidding me? I want to dress you. And so he put me in this beautiful garment, and I felt like a Mexican princess.
Love that.
And
Yeah.
he said, bitch, you are a Mexican princess.
Do you or do you not feel bonita?
I felt so bonita. It was great. The whole experience, and just representing, and especially being able to say what I was, and being able to be celebrated in such a way after so many years in that industry, not feeling like, constantly not feeling like I was enough. uh, it was awesome, and I had to show up, and yeah, it was just about representing. It wasn't even about me. I have the award, yes, but it was for every brown boy. And I know at the end of the day, it's porn, but sex is so undeniably a part of our queer culture. And people look to sex workers to find their own identity. Like, I hear people constantly be like, you were a part of my gay awakening. And that's power that
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask for. And not that I draw from that power and I'm like, you're gay because you saw me put my penis in someone's butt. It's so important that people see a brown man being so sexually positive. And it's not just about the act of sex. You guys, I was like, oh, I did my face, and like, I put on my lotions and potions. That's sex positivity to me. Sex positivity is taking care of oneself, in every aspect. And taking care of yourself means knowing your history, loving yourself, loving others, being kind. That's all sex positivity to me. And it's not just overt sex, because that's easy. You can stick your penis in or get a penis stuck in your butt or your mouth or whatever you're into. That's easy. It's the maintenance and what you put out there that's what makes it a responsibility for us, because there's so much shame. There's so much shame. And I just want people to realize that there's nothing to be ashamed of. Even if you're not into sex, that doesn't mean you can't be sex positive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Some people just aren't into intercourse. There's some people that just yearn for connection. But all that, there needs to be some sort of positivity in that. And what's more jarring than anything is the sex aspect of it. And I don't think there's not anyone that gets ready with the thought of not being sexy.
Yeah. That's true.
That's true.
That is very true.
There's always this effort put in. And even if you don't think about, oh, I want to be sexy, like, it comes from some thought, and that thought comes from usual, provocativeness.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, friends, on that note, Boomer was dropping some gems a few minutes ago, and so it was just pure fire.
And some
But again,
fringe.
and some
Love it.
And some
major
fringe.
thanks, right? Major thanks to the unstoppable Boomer Banks for serving realness, fashion, and proof that authenticity never goes out of style.
Thank you.
So, if you love this episode, right? If this episode lit you up, you know what to do. Here's what. We want you to hit that follow button on your favorite platforms, whether that's Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, because we're everywhere. We want you to leave us a 5-star rating like it owes you money. Click 5 stars, all right, everyone?
Not
And
three,
then,
not
not
two,
three.
five.
Look, what he
5.
said, right?
Do the
What
queer
is
math.
Right. And then drop your favorite moment of this episode in our DMs or comment below because we're dying to hear from you. And then remember the no man motto: stay loud, stay proud, and never settle for mediocre. Until next time, besties, this is No Man, where real talk meets legendary energy. Bye, y'all.